Okay, it is taking much longer time for the recording. Okay, it has started. Okay. So, okay, next topic is transport lighting. Okay, so road lighting provides visual condition for safe, quick and comfortable movement of the road users. Okay, the factors which are responsible for the lighting scheme for the roads are luminance level, luminance uniformity, degree of glare limitation, lamp spectra, effectiveness of the visual guidance. So these five factors are responsible for the lighting scheme of road. Okay, let us discuss these factors one by one. Okay, so in general, as I have already shown this image, that if illumination is not provided, if lamps are not provided on the roads, then the whoever is using the road for transport, okay, he won't be able to see the opposite vehicles if he is driving on the road. Okay, so because of the glare that is coming out from the lamps of the other vehicles. Okay, so proper illumination is very much required on the roads. So as the luminance of the road influences contrast sensitivity of the driver's eyes and contrast of the obstacles related to the background, it affects the performance of the road users. So what is meant by contrast? You can understand by looking at these images. So one image you can see, you can identify clearly each and every vehicle as well as the road barriers and all. You can clearly see here. Okay. But whereas in the right side image, the image is a bit blurred, means there is loss of contrast here. Okay, so the contrast loss should not be there. Okay, so the driver's eyes are very much influenced by the contrast sensitivity. They must be able to identify the difference, relative difference between the background and the obstacles that are coming in front of him while he is using the road as transport. Okay, the surrounding brightness will always affect the adaptation of the human eye. Okay, so if I think you might be already knowing that if outside is very bright, okay, if means sufficient illumination should be there. Okay, so if you see a lamp, okay, a glowing lamp, okay, if you look at it for few fraction of seconds and if you turn your head away from the lamp and if you try to look at your surroundings, you won't be able to for a few seconds you won't be able to look at anything because of the effect that the lamp brightness has caused on you. Okay, so our eye has the ability to adapt itself according to the brightness on of the surrounding. Okay, even if suddenly power is cut in our houses, if power cut is there in our houses immediate suddenly, we can't see anything after few seconds. Okay, maybe after a minute. Okay, you can partially see the objects in the room, but immediately, instantaneously, as soon as power cut occurs, okay, you can't immediately can't identify anything. What happens is after few fraction of seconds or after few seconds or after a minute, our eye adjusts to the darkness and partially will be able to see the objects in our houses. Okay, so bright surroundings always lower contrast sensitivity, thereby requiring higher luminance for the road surface. Okay, if darker surrounding is there, then darker surrounding will make driver adapt to the road assuming road is brighter. That means that, okay, if see, if you see, observe here, the surrounding of this road is dark. You can see here. Okay, the surrounding of the road is dark. So when the surrounding of the road is dark, the driver will assume that road is much more brighter and it is clear, it will be clearly visible to him. Okay, but if the surrounding of the road is very much more brighter than the road, okay, then this brighter surrounding will lower contrast sensitivity, thereby requiring higher luminance of the road surface. Okay, so always the engineers what they make sure is the road illumination is much more than the surrounding. Okay, the surrounding illumination should not be more than the illumination of the road. Okay, so this is the illumination level required. Okay, and so actually, we may think that the lamps that are placed besides to the roads are used only to illuminate the road. But actually, the other portion of the road, whatever it is seen here, which is darker, if you see in this image, not in this image, yeah, this I have only these images. Yeah, if you see in this image, okay, according to the International Commission of Illumination, okay, at least 5 meters away from the road on either sides, okay, so on the either side roadside, okay, so this is the roadside, this is also roadside, on the either side of the road 50% illumination should be provided by these lamps, okay, so the lamps are fixed besides to the roads in such a way that at least whatever illumination is available provided on the road by these lamps, okay, among that illumination, whatever percentage of illumination, if they are able to illuminate this road 100%, 50% of illumination should be available on the roadsides. Okay, this is according to International Commission of Illumination. Okay. So I have discussed about it. Now, luminance uniformity. Next one is luminance uniformity. Okay. So illumination should be uniform. Okay. So luminance adequate uniformity is necessary for visual performance as well as visual comfort of the user. Okay. So for the visual performance as well as for the visual comfort of the user, adequate luminance uniformity should be there. Okay, so this visual performance, it will be affected by the an ratio which is known as uniformity ratio. You can call it as overall uniformity, which is given by luminance, which is given by the ratio of luminance, minimum luminance by average luminance. Okay, so if you want to determine the uniformity, luminance uniformity, then overall uniformity of the luminance, then it is given by minimum luminance by average luminance, and it should not be below zero point 0.4. Okay, and the visual performance is actually it is affected by overall uniformity, and the visual comfort, it is affected by longitudinal uniformity. Okay, so longitudinal uniformity is given by the ratio of minimum luminance by the maximum luminance measured along the line passing through the observer positioned in the middle of the traffic facing the traffic flow. Okay, if a person is standing in the middle of the traffic facing the traffic, okay, then the longitudinal uniformity is given by the ratio of minimum luminance by the maximum luminance. You can see this image. Okay, so this is the longitudinal uniformity. Okay, a person is standing in the middle of the traffic, of course here traffic is not shown, but when he is looking towards the traffic, you can calculate the longitudinal uniformity. Okay, so you can see these two images. In these two images, if you see, lamps are on one side of this road. Okay, lamps are placed on one side of this road. Okay, so under the lamps, luminance will be more. Okay, so on one side of the road, luminance will be more. Okay, or luminance may be uniform. Okay, on the other side, luminance will be low. Therefore, the overall uniformity is less. Okay, the overall uniformity is less on this side. The other side on which lamps are not there, only one side lamps are there, on the other side lamps are not there, therefore overall uniformity is less visibility on the left lane. This is left lane, this is right lane of the road. Okay, this is left lane and this is right lane of the road. Okay, whereas the longitudinal uniformity is good. Okay, and no zebra effect. No zebra effect means in between shadows are not there, so no zebra effect. Okay, now let us take the another case. Okay, in this case, so whatever lamps that we have connected here, okay, because of these lamps, the illumination that is coming from these lamps, okay, so the overall uniformity is good. Okay, good visibility on the left lane. Okay, of course both look similar, both are looking almost similar, both the images, but depending on the type of lamp that we are using, if I am using sodium vapor lamp here, and if I am using mercury vapor lamp, or if I am using LED lamps on this right side image, then overall uniformity will be good, even though on the left lane lamps are not placed. Okay, but here in this case longitudinal uniformity is poor because zebra lines are there. Okay, you can see shadows in between. Okay, that is known as zebra effect. Okay, in between the shadows you can see. Okay, so that is known as zebra effect. Okay, so you can see one more image here. Poor longitudinal uniformity. So lamps are there on both sides of this road. Okay, on both sides lamps are there, but you can see the shadows in between. It is the zebra effect. Okay, one more image. See, it has this left side image has poor uniformity ratio and right side image has good uniformity ratio. Okay. Next one is glare limitation. Okay. So you already know what is meant by glare. Glare means visual discomfort due to high luminance. Okay. If luminance is too high, then it will cause visual discomfort. Okay, so glare will always affect the visual performance as well as visual comfort. There are two types of glares that are created by the street light luminaries. They are disability glare and discomfort glare. Okay, so the glares that are created by the street lights are disability glare and discomfort glare. Okay, so let us discuss one by one. So what is meant by disability glare? So disability glare makes human eyes disabled to see any object for a little while. Okay, for certain period of time you won't be able to see any object because of the glare produced by these roadside lamps. For example, if we are looking at any bright source, if you are looking at a light source, see you can see a light source here. Okay, on the roadside, if we are looking at the light source for a few seconds and then we look at any other object, okay, okay, of low brightness, okay, another object of low brightness, we become unable to see that object properly. Okay, rather we can see black spot of for some time, means nothing will be visible for fraction of second. See, it happens with me whenever sometimes when I am walking in this under the sun and suddenly enter into a building, immediately for fraction of second I can't see anything. It happened with me. I don't know about you people, but it happened with me when I was of your age. Okay, so when we are looking at a brighter source, light source for few seconds, and then when we look at any object with low brightness, we become unable to see this object properly. Rather, we can see black spot for some time. Okay, this is one type of momentary blindness. Okay, even though we don't have any sight issue, but we momentarily we become blind for fraction of seconds. Okay, so this is known as disability glare. Okay. Next one is discomfort glare. So discomfort glare is not the cause of momentary blindness like disability glare, but it is responsible to affect the visibility of human eye to an extent for long time. Okay, so if discomfort glare occurs for longer period of time, you won't be able to see anything. Okay, so this kind of glare will depend on the luminaries installed besides to the road. Okay, so what type of luminaries are installed besides to the road? It depends on that. Okay, so if luminaries are installed at very high value, okay, the human eye cannot observe the objects with lower luminance properly beyond this higher luminance. Okay, that means, see, if even though luminaries are there on this road, okay, see, you can't see objects clearly. Okay, so if I am moving on a road, even though street lamps are there, okay, if I am moving in a vehicle on the road, even though street lights are there, if if street lights are placed at very high poles, and if that area is new to me, and if I want to know, if I want to go to some new place, okay, and if the road is new to me, then I won't be knowing next what will come, which town will come, okay, and what is my next destination, I won't be knowing, okay. So I have to search here and there, looking for the boards placed written of the area name and all. Okay, so if enough illumination is not there, luminance is low, then I have to put enough pressure on my eyes to so that my pupil will expand. I hope you have see, once I explained that also, I have shown that image also. The pupil of my eye will expand, okay, and I have to put more efforts to identify the objects. Okay, so this image shows us the discomfort glare. Okay, means when the luminaries are placed at very height, okay, the objects on the surface will not be visible clearly, so we have to put more efforts, means the pressure on the eye, okay, will increase. Okay, so the eye has to, means the visible, it affects the visibility of the human eye, okay, for a longer period of time. So I hope you have understood what is meant by disability glare and discomfort glare. Okay, disability glare is when I look at a light source, okay, suddenly my eyes will become blurred and I can't see anything for few fraction of seconds. Discomfort glare is when luminaries are mounted at very higher position. Okay, if enough illumination is not there on the road, then I can't see objects clearly. Okay, so next, lamp spectra. Okay, next one is lamp spectra. So first of all, we must know what is meant by spectrum. Spectrum is simply a chart or a graph that shows the intensity of light being emitted over a range of energies. Okay, so I'm showing you in this, there is an image you can see here, the lamp spectrum of this LED lamp and high pressure sodium vapor lamp. Okay, you can see the lamp spectrum of these two. Okay, so the lamp spectrum of for visual sharpness, okay, depends on the proper luminaries. Okay, so what type of luminary that I'm using? Different types of luminaries are there. Okay, lamps are there, LED lamps are there, sodium vapor lamps, low pressure, high pressure, mercury vapor lamps are there. Okay, and compact fluorescent lamps are there. Okay, so our visual sharpness will always depend on which type of luminary I am using. Okay, so if I am using, so for example, a sodium vapor bulb in my house, okay, so enough illumination will not be there. If I am using an LED bulb in my house, enough illumination will be there. Okay, so proper, if illumination is not, if sufficient illumination is not there, then we have to struggle, okay, to look at the objects in the same room. Okay, so spectral composition determines color appearance of the lamp. Okay, so the way a lamp is going to render color to the objects, for example, low pressure sodium vapor lamps give greater visual acuity. Okay, so you can identify objects clearly by using sodium vapor lamp, but enough brightness will not be there. But exact shape can be identified by using sodium vapor lamp. Okay, so the visual spectrum should be such that there is a great speed of perception. Okay, so immediately you must be, if you are looking at any object, immediately you must be able to identify what is that object, what is the shape of that object, what are the dimensions of that object. Okay, less discomfort glare should be there because of that visual spectrum that is coming out of that lamp. You know what is meant by spectrum. Okay, so when sun rays fall on a raindrop, you can see the spectrum, isn't it? Similarly, in some lamps you can even see the spectrum like this. Okay, so the spectrum which is should have means the visual spectrum should be such that there is a great speed of perception. Okay, less discomfort, glare, and shorter recovery time after glare. Even if glare occurs, okay, even if glare occurs, then immediately means within a short interval of time, that you must our eyes must recover. Okay. Next one is visual guidance. Okay, so visual guidance means if you see, you can see, I can show many images are there to show you people. So visual guidance guides the road users. Okay, visual guidance will guide the road users. Yeah, so it guides the road users and it helps a viewer to guess how far another object is from its position. Okay, so if visual guidance is there, the street lamps are for that only. So how far another object is there from on the road from you, you can easily understand. Okay, so street lamps or the road lamps provide the visual guidance to the user. Okay, so this can be improved by lamp arrangement that follows the run of the road. Okay, so the how you are arranging the lamps on the road, that will definitely affect the visual guidance on the road. Okay, so if lamps are very far away from each other, if zebra effect occurs, you know what is zebra effect, just now I have shown you, then you won't be able to clearly see the objects or the vehicles in front of you. Okay, so if you see here, you can see some series of lamps here placed besides to this road. Okay, and you can see, you can identify the vehicles. Okay, how many vehicles are there in front of you, at what speed they are moving. Okay, you can easily identify it by looking at this image. Okay, now if turns and intersections are there in between, okay, if turns and intersections are there in between, then this lighting scheme must provide sufficient visual guidance. Okay, this lighting scheme, it must provide sufficient lighting guidance on roads having separate lanes with separator. The lighting columns are located on, should be located on the separator. Okay, you can see a separator here, it has two separate lanes here. Okay, so this road has two separate lanes, so on the separator the lighting columns must be placed. Okay, so now on the curves, if curves are there, then lighting column should be located all along the outer column of the curve. Okay, all along the outer column, this is the outer column, this is the inner column of this road. Okay, you can see the inner column of this road and you can see the outer column of this road. Okay, so the lighting column should be located all along the outer column. Okay, so this gives a clear indication of the run of the road on the curvature. Okay, so visual guidance helps traffic through lights of different colors on different routes. Okay, so you can have an different colors. Okay, different color lights will be there in different routes. Okay, and exits of main roads are illuminated with different lights. Usually sodium vapor lamps are used on the main roads, and at the exits of the main road mercury vapor lamps are used. Okay, sodium vapor lamps are used on the main roads, and at the exit lamps mercury vapor lamps are used. Okay, so now let us see the official recommendations of that are to be followed for the roads. Okay, so the national standards for illuminating the roads are taken from the International Commission of Illumination for visual conditions for smooth movement and safe traffic pattern. Okay, for smooth movement of the vehicles on the road and for safe traffic pattern, national standards are taken from the International Commission of Illumination. Okay, so these national standards will depend on speed, intensity, composition of the traffic and the complexity of the road. Okay, the international standards will depend on the speed, intensity, composition of the traffic and complexity of the road. So depending on the speed, intensity, composition of the composition of the traffic and complexity of the road, okay, the Roads are categorized as A to E based on the locality and traffic density. Okay, and appropriate recommendations for lighting is also provided. So let us see the categories of the road as A to E based on locality and traffic density and appropriate recommendations for lighting. Okay, so what is this? Yeah. Okay, so let us see the road categories. Okay, if road categories type category is A type, then this the type and density of the traffic will be heavy and high speed motorized vehicles will be moving on that road. Okay, category A roads are the roads in which heavy and high speed motorized traffic will be there. Okay, this type of road will have separators, no crossings, complete access control will be there. Okay, and examples for this category are motorways and expressways. Okay, next category B type roads are this type roads are important traffic roads for motorized traffic only, and separate road for slow traffic or pedestrians will be provided for B type roads. Okay, for example, trunk road and major roads. Okay, category C type are they are heavy and moderate speed motorized traffic or heavy mixed traffic of moderate speed will be there on these roads, and this type of road is important to all purpose rural or urban roads. Okay, and example is ring road and radial roads. Okay, next D type category road is fairly heavy mixed traffic of which a major part may be slow traffic or pedestrians. Okay, so majority on this road will be slow traffic and pedestrians will be more on this road. Okay, so road within the city, this type of road is within the city or shopping center, approach roads, motorized traffic meets heavy slow or pedestrians. Okay, so examples are trunk road, commercial shopping, road shopping streets, etc. Okay, next E-type road category is mixed traffic of limited speed and moderate. Okay, and type of road is collector road between residential areas, and example is collector road, local streets. Okay, so recommendations for the lighting is depending on the category. Category A, B1, B2, A to E categories are there. B is further classified into A, B1, B2. C is classified into C1, C2. E is also further classified into E1 and E2. Okay. So A is for any surrounding, for A category road, for any surrounding. Okay. So luminance level should be always greater than or equal to 2. Overall uniformity should be greater than or equal to 0.4. Okay, so longitudinal uniformity is not, its value is, specification is not required. For B1 category, more bright, for more surrounding is more bright. Okay, for B2 surrounding is less bright. Okay, sorry, it is darker. Okay, B2 category is for darker region and B1 is for brighter region. Okay, luminance level is 2 and for brighter, and for darker luminance level is 1. Okay, overall uniformity is 0.4, longitudinal uniformity is 0.7. Okay, for C1 category it comes for brighter surroundings, and C2 is for darker surrounding. Luminance level is 2 for bright, and for dark it is 1, and uniformity ratio is 0.4. Okay, I hope you have, I have already told you its luminance uniformity, overall uniformity should not be more than 0.4. Okay, so you can go through this table. Okay, so let us see the lighting arrangements. Okay, depending on the road categories, there are various arrangements of lamps for two-way traffic roads. Okay, so the lamps usually, if you see, I will show you an image. Okay, yeah. So these lamps, you know, they will be having cantilever. Okay, cantilever will be there, connected, placed above the pole. Okay, so this cantilever length should be should not exceed 1/4 of the height of the pole. Okay, and the lighting elevation should not exceed 15 degrees. Okay, the lighting elevation of this cantilever should not exceed 15 degrees, and its length should not be more than 1/4 of the height of the pole. Okay. So let us see the various arrangements on the road for these lamps. Okay, so there are 4 types of lighting arrangements. One is single-sided lighting arrangement, staggered lighting arrangement, opposite lighting arrangement, and span wire lighting arrangement. Okay, so let us discuss one by one: single-sided, staggered, opposite, and span wire. So let us discuss one by one lighting arrangements. So single-sided one. Let us start with single-sided. All luminaries are located on one side of the road. Okay, this is the road. This parallel lines you see. This is the road. All luminaries are located on one side of the road. Okay, you can see this image. All luminaries are located on one side of the road. You can even see one more image here. This luminary is on one side, other side luminary is not there. Okay, so luminance at the opposite remote end lower than under the lamp. Okay, means on the opposite side illumination will be less when compared to the illumination under the lamps. Okay, so luminance will be more under the lamp when compared to the opposite side. The span between the two poles, okay, the distance between these two poles will be equal to the width of the road. This width of the road will be equal to the distance between these two lamps. Okay. The installation height of the lamp will be equal to or less than the effective width of the road surface. Okay, the installation height of the road will be always equal to or less than the effective width of the road surface. Okay, next one is staggered lighting arrangement. In the staggered lighting arrangement, the luminaries are placed alternately on each side of the road. Alternately, see, not in front of this lamp, but alternately. You can see here in this image, they are placed alternately on each side of the road in a zigzag or staggered pattern. Okay, but in order zebra crossing must be avoided in this case. Okay, so dark patches should not be visible in this type of arrangement. Okay, there are chances for the dark patches to appear in between these two lamps, these lamps which are in staggered form. Okay, so dark patches must be avoided. The span between the two lamps may not be equal to the road width. Okay, so the span between the two lamps may not be equal to the road width. The installation height of each lamp, okay, the installation height of each lamp is equal or 1.5 times the effective width of the road. Okay, installation height of each lamp is equal or 1.5 times the effective width of the road. Okay, next is opposite lighting arrangement. Okay, so the luminaries are located on both sides of the road opposite to one another, facing each other. Okay, the span between two poles, this is one pole, this is one pole, the span between these two poles may not be equal to the road width. Okay, the installation height of each lamp, the height of each lamp will be 2 to 2.5 times the effective width of the road. Okay, so next is span wire. Okay, the luminaries are suspended along the axis of the road only normally for narrow roads. Okay, so they are suspended along the axis of the road only normally for the narrow roads, and suspended from cables strung between the buildings. Okay, I'm showing the cable which is strung between the buildings. Okay, so this is about 4 types of lighting arrangements. Okay, I will continue further. It's still we have to discuss. Okay, few more points, but I will stop recording.